from different places, we all have different names. No matter what life brings us, Jesus is the same. We're just your Methodist to the madness. Methodist to the madness. Methodist to the madness. Methodist to the madness.
Welcome, soldiers for Jesus.
Welcome. Welcome, soldiers.
How are you today?
I see that you're standing by the gate. Here, let me open the gate for you.
What is happening?
I don't know if it's like the gate to heaven and I've already died or like where I am at this point, but I hope it's a good thing.
On the Bonanza podcast that I listen to, Bonanas for Bonanza, in every single episode he starts it off, or he forgets to start it off with it and just says it in the middle of the episode, and that makes me laugh. But every episode, at some point, he says, "Hello, friends, come on in. The gate is open wide."
Nice.
Yeah. One time, I was listening to the podcast and like 30 minutes had gone by and he's like, "Oh, I forgot to say the thing that I say in every episode." And then he just said it and it made me laugh so hard.
Yes.
He could have edited that in at the beginning, but he didn't. And I respect him so much more for that.
Yes.
Anyway.
I guess we should do the same thing, like, "Oh, hi, I'm Tim."
And that's him.
Tim, what's going on in your life this week?
Tim, what's been going on?
So, I guess the biggest thing was we had Friendsgiving with the young adult life group, and it was so awesome. I'm just so happy that we all got together doing that, and I hadn't had Friendsgiving before, so this was just like a really nice, memorable experience for me, and the food was awesome. And I honestly have to say that my favorite food in the entire mix was Amber's sweet potato pecan casserole. I mean, it tasted better than the pumpkin pie that I got from Costco. I mean, I was really surprised, honestly. Like that, in comparison, the Costco pumpkin pie tasted like it was like off, and like it wasn't even like a pumpkin pie or something. I don't know. It was just really strange. But yeah, I had a really great time. We had some really great conversation, and it was just nice, just talking about things in general, finding out everybody's Thanksgiving plans. And yeah, it was just so much fun. So that was one thing. And then secondly, it probably was having to do with the fact that we had such an interesting message for Sunday, and we'll talk about that in the sermon feedback. And Jessica did such a fantastic job. And then the young adult Friendsgiving, that I don't know, when I got home, I was just sort of aimless. I didn't really have any particular plans for the rest of the evening. And I felt like I wanted to get something done, but I felt anxious and I wasn't sure. And so I felt like that was the right time for me to pray. So, and this time I think I really put into practice something I had sort of been working on a little bit. But this time I fully put it into practice, and I think it totally changed my perspective on prayer. And that's when I went in to pray, I basically didn't put any real emphasis on praying a certain way. I just sort of spent my time with God, in his presence. And it was just a really powerful experience for me. I just felt really inspired and comforted. I felt God's presence, it was warm, and it was just a really amazing time. And then it kind of felt natural for me to talk to God in that moment. It didn't feel like it was obligatory or anything like that. I didn't have to go about it a certain way. And so I think it's sort of like the continuation of the prayer vigil or something like that. And just, it was a really awe-inspiring experience for me. And I actually felt really productive, like I could be really productive afterwards. So I actually like took care of some chores and stuff, even though I was still tired from Friendsgiving. Like it was, yeah. So it kind of leaves me a little bit speechless. So I feel like I'm going to pray like that from now on, where I'm just like spending time in God's presence. And then whatever comes to mind, I just share it with God at that point. And then I just say amen when I feel like I've spent enough time with God in that moment. So yeah, very, very interesting. The other thing I want to mention is, I came upon this YouTube video that I shared with Abby about overcoming lactose intolerance. And it was such an interesting video. Like basically what she talked about was she put powdered milk into water and drank that for like 2 weeks. She did it every day and she had the most ridiculous like digestive symptoms. But after a week, she was completely cured, or no, she started progressively becoming completely cured. And then after 2 long weeks of dealing with symptoms, she was asymptomatic. Like she was completely lactose not intolerant anymore. So she could tolerate anything.
Lactose tolerant.
Yes, lactose tolerant. Exactly. Okay. So yeah, the author of the video is let me see here if I can get that. Just for anybody who wants to hear her story on that. It's HG Modernism. So I guess she talks about other stuff on her channel that seems kind of interesting, but yeah, this stood out to me. I have like mild lactose intolerance.
Everybody.
So like I can't drink milk and have like no discomfort, but I can have like a little bit of cheese on things and it doesn't make me sick. So yeah, I don't know if I'm going to go full throttle and like drink powdered milk concoction and do it every single day or anything like that, but might be useful for somebody who's suffering.
Here's a fun fact about cow's milk. Humans were never meant to consume cow's milk because milk is, mammal specific. So obviously cat milk is the best. If you're a human milk is the best. Sorry, Tim.
Right. No, that's good information.
Nobody should be drinking milk. But cheese is amazing, and I'm not going to stop. But mixing powdered milk with water sounds awful. So I'm just going to live with the discomfort because that's how I live in every other aspect of my life anyway.
Right. Yeah. And then dairy and cheese, like at one time I got really sick from having a block of cheese for my protein. And ever since then,
I feel like you deserved that one a little bit.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Dude, that's like, I think there's like a warning label, like please do not consume an
entire block of cheese.
Oh, really?
I don't know. I feel like it would. It would be like, please seek medical attention.
Yeah, so do not recommend eating block of cheese for protein for the day.
I can just imagine you carrying around like a massive, like rectangular chunk of Velveeta cheese.
No, Velveeta, no. That's not cheese. That's
like big. Anyways,
that's like cheese adjacent.
Yeah, that's like the cheese that they have powder and they pour water into it.
Actually, I ate nothing but, boxes of Velveeta for Velveeta cheese, not Sheldon cheese, just Velveeta. And now I can't eat any cheese, even real cheese.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Just kidding. That's weird. Anyway.
Speaking of cheese, how
because you are what you eat.
How's this past week been for you?
Oh, it's been okay, I think. I spent most of the week cleaning the house because I had some ladies over on Friday night, and then Owen wanted to have his friend over on Saturday. So I was like, Owen, we'll clean the house when I have this event, and then the house will be clean, and then you can have your friend over, because otherwise our house is just messy all the time. So that was
eventful.
That was it. And then we've been trying to do family time on Sunday nights, and like each week we alternate what we're gonna do for family time. And in September we were supposed to go see Childish Gambino. That's his rap moniker, but he's also known as Donald Glover, and he's an actor. And this was kind of like his farewell tour, and he was going to retire the Childish Gambino moniker. And so Owen asked if we could go, and I said, yes, of course, let's do it. You know, YOLO, all that. People aren't saying YOLO anymore, but I still am. But then his whole tour got canceled because he was going through some health issues and needed to have emergency surgery. And so I thought, you know how like with Taylor Swift, like the Eras concert, you can watch it, like, you know, they have it on HBO Max or whatever it's on, but also people will put up their own videos on YouTube. Well, there was a Childish Gambino one, so I was like, let's watch that, and that'll be our family time. And it was a very good concert, but it didn't make us feel better. It just made us more sad that we don't get to see him, but it was still fun. And then what I did right before I got on the podcast, which I've never done before, I got a text message from my friend Lucy. And well, she texted me this morning and said, Beth, at Dutch Bros, they're giving away Princess Straw Toppers. And she was like, should I go get one? And then she sent me another message and was like, never mind, it's at 5:00. I won't be around at 5:00. And so I've been trying to decide all day if I'm going to do this or not. And then like at 4:45, Dutch Bros is a 2-minute drive from my house, literally. So I was like, let's go. So Owen and I went, and I thought it would just be like a 20-minute thing and like go in, get out. But no, everybody and their mom was there. Like the drive-through was crazy. We didn't even go through the drive-through because Owen drove, and he's still a new driver. So I had him park at the gas station next door, and then I walked to order, and what I thought was a 20-minute experience turned out to be an hour experience of me just waiting in the cold because I wasn't prepared for how long it was going to be. But I was able to meet Lucy and give her the princess topper. It's her daughter's birthday today, and so she was coming back from Tehachapi from seeing her daughter. And so you got a free topper. You got a topper with every drink that you ordered. And I ordered 4 drinks for my family, and I got 4 toppers. So I kept one for myself and gave the rest to Lucy, who was on her way through going back home. And she has 2 girls, so it worked out perfectly. Okay. Yeah. And I think nice. I had another thing to say, but I forgot what it was. So that's the end of my update. Just
that's what my update felt like. Yeah. Especially mentioning the cheese part. That was unintended.
Yeah.
What do you have, Jessica?
I'm trying to think of where my life was. Where was I this past week?
Oh.
Mentally, I felt very checked out. Just feeling so busy. But I think it was a good week. I know that let's see, last week we had our 20-week scan. Okay, we had that, but I think I already talked about that last week. Sorry, bud. I will mention this. You can probably hear it. I'm not going to say we. I'm going to say Amber. I got home one day as I finished backing my vehicle up into our garage, Amber comes walking around holding this orange tabby, smiling so big. And I'm like, well, we got another cat.
That's exactly how we got our last kitten. I went to go get it and brought it home. Because what can you do? You can't say no. It's a kitten and it's cute.
I know. But yeah, there was a lady that one of the other teachers that works with Amber, she brought in a bunch of her foster kittens to see if anybody would be open to adopting them. And Amber's been wanting an orange tabby for a while. We figure, well, by the time the baby's born, this thing's going to be just fine, ready to go. So, but so far it's been actually pretty awesome because the animals have received, we're calling him Willie after Willie Nelson. They've received him really well. One of our other cats, they play together quite often, and it's really fun to watch. So,
oh wow.
But yeah, I mean, that's been eventful in itself. But then this past Sunday, I had the opportunity to kind of, I don't want to say I led a sermon because Raymond and Don were also there. So I don't think it's fair for me to say I led a sermon. But
a sermon.
But had a lot of fun playing with Raymond and Don this past Sunday, and just kind of preparing for that was really awesome because Raymond and I had been practicing for a while, just kind of jamming and playing worship music. And Pastor Jim had approached me about doing a sermon, like a music sermon, and I was like, "Oh, that'd be cool," because then I know that it's only going to be 20-25 minutes, So picking the songs and figuring out what to do with it took a lot of, I think prayer and everything. So this past week was a lot of preparation for that. So, but other than that, I would say it was just a good week. It was very busy, but it was a good week. So, but I do want to share a few things that are going on at the church. So I'm going to update everybody on church updatus.
Updatus.
So
is this a new language? The start of a new language?
Potentially. So this coming, what is it? Today's November 18th. Sunday, November 24th is Stewardship Sunday, which for those that have not completed the form, just be sure to turn that in on Sunday. And then on Wednesday, jam-packed, exciting time. We're going to start off Wednesday evening with Kids Club at 5:30. And then following that at 6 will be Food for Thought. And it's a Thanksgiving theme. So join in on the giving of thanks theme. And then let's see. Actually, we want to say that on this coming Sunday, the 24th, the youth group is having the
it's a progressive. Yeah.
It's a Thanksgiving progressive dinner that's from 5 to 7. So the youth will be contacted by all of us leaders to send out reminders for that. Pastor Jim is solidifying the locations. And so if you have any questions, feel free to contact Pastor Jim or the leaders that contact your kids. So that is on the 24th. So keep that in mind. On Sunday, the 1st, it is a very exciting day because it's Messy Advent and the Christmas Boutique. And that's going to be the boutique will take place between services, but then also after the second service. And then Messy Advent's going to be from 4 to 6 p.m. So lots of exciting things.
Oh.
Sorry, the cat is literally upside down, Cliff hanging off of my arm and chewing on me. So I just encourage everyone to experience the joy of having a kitten at some point in their lives.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
not the chewing on your hand part, but
Right.
No, but it's all a joy, it sounds like.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Beth.
Do you have more updates or can I add one?
I have more updates.
Okay, I will wait and I'll add one if I need to.
When is do you know when the update is, or when your event is taking place? Like what date?
Yeah, it's the 13th. And
Okay.
it's not my event. It's probably in the calendar. I just made there's probably a bulletin. I just made a flyer for it today. That's all.
Okay. Yeah, that's that's going to be our last one. So I'll let you share that one. I'll cue you when to share
great.
that. So on Sunday, 12/1. So yeah, Messy Advent and Boutique. And then the following Sunday on December 8th, guys, this is going to be really exciting. Let's hope there's no Office remakes. And I'm speaking of The Office in general, but there's going to be, it's the Scouts Chili Cook-Off. So we've got an exciting cook-off to taste test, yum yum, after the 11 a.m. service. So
wow.
Bring your appetites. If you are sensitive to beans, good luck. That's all. And then on Thursday, December 12th, I know it's supposed to be senior luncheon, but it says SR dot. So I'm going to say Sir Luncheon. From 11:30 a.m. Until TBD in the social hall. I don't know how long it's going to go for. It says it's however long Sir Luncheon wants to be there. So but that's going to be, that actually sounds really nice. So
yeah,
30 a.m. in the social hall on Thursday, December 12th. And then the last announcement we have that Beth is going to share joyfully is...
Joyfully. Well, I'm here to tell you that on Friday, December 13th, there will be a celebration of the Christmas spirit in the style of a Make a Joyful Noise Christmas concert. And that will be Friday, December 13th at 7:00 p.m. in the sanctuary. And we're asking for a $10 donation for the concert. And if you want to make an evening out of it, you can even show up to church at 5:30 and enjoy a light dinner in the social hall.
What?
$5.
Wow.
And the Make a Joyful Noise group was here last year, and the money that was collected went to their organization. But this year they're collecting money and they're going to donate it back to the church. So
wow.
How exciting is that? That's really
that is exciting. So cool.
And if you want, what?
They talk about making a joyful noise.
Yeah.
If you have any questions or comments about this joyful event, you may call the church office at 661-947-3103.
Oh, yeah. Wonderful. Well, there's so much happening in December.
Yeah. It's amazing. Yeah, there was the start of Advent. It's just like kicked off with all this wonderful stuff. That's great.
I forgot to mention one thing. Our chancel choir will be singing at this event, and the handbell choir will be playing as well.
Ooh,
that's awesome!
Yeah,
that's so sweet. Wow,
I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be great.
Yeah.
I like how Tim seems kind of surprised, but he's part of the choir.
I know. I'm just. Actually, I didn't know the bell choir part.
I gotta clear my schedule for this. I think
I would like to RSVP as pending.
Awesome. Well, let's go ahead and what's the word? Swing into. What's a good word for going into the next portion of
swimming?
We're swimming into the next portion of the
breeze through since it's so windy.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Right. No, like a kite. Like flying a kite. Yeah.
Except I don't recommend.
That's out for blood.
Yes. It's got knives at the end
like
of the
a murder kite.
Yes.
Tim, this is why the disclaimer, by the way, because I don't think any of the people, the pastors, would ever say something like murder kite. Just a reminder for those who might be new to the podcast. What's the disclaimer? I don't know. The views of the speakers on the podcast do not necessarily reflect the views of the Palmdale United Methodist Church.
Right. So we're filled with God's Spirit, and we share
a little bit of rage.
Like,
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we share a little bit of rage. Exactly.
That's the madness part of our.
Yeah. No, I wanted to be in charge of the Christmas concert, but I wanted to name it "Make a Rageful Noise," and they vetoed it. So,
okay.
I'm just going to take it to the Metallica concert and call it a day.
That's the joyful noise after dark. That'll be
the after hours one.
Yeah.
So I guess we can we can go into the Methodist moment with the jingle again. Yeah?
Wait,
take it over, Tim.
Do it.
Methodist moment, Methodist moment, Methodist moment.
All right.
Well, today we are highlighting a very special Methodist, and she had to travel really far to make it into the same room as her wife, Jessica, to be on this podcast. Amber Young.
Yay! This is awesome.
Thanks for having me again.
I forgot. Why don't you tell us what Jessica suggested you talk about? Because I forgot what that was.
That's funny. Well, so she was wanting me to talk about how faith has impacted my job as a teacher.
In a positive way?
Well, it can be in a positive. It can be, basically just a quick SWOT analysis on strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats of faith within the teaching realm.
You might have to write that down.
Yeah, I'm really.
These are the course learning outcomes that I'm providing.
These are the course learning outcomes. Well, what immediately comes to mind, Amber, when you think about your being a teacher and your faith? Like, how does that affected your day-to-day teaching experience?
Well, that's a great question, Tim. I definitely feel like my faith has allowed me to be more understanding and compassionate with the little ones that I teach. It takes a lot of patience sometimes and a lot of compassion. There are days that I get up and I'm like, I do not want to go to work today. I don't want to do this. I just don't feel like putting my game face on and having to, basically do theatrics to get their attention.
Mold the minds.
mold the minds. Yes.
Yeah.
It's just too much pressure some days.
Yeah.
Right.
But I always say a prayer, whether it's at the breakfast table or I'm driving to work. I say a prayer about my day and that God will guide my footsteps and just be what I need to be for the children. And as soon as I get into the doors and I have little faces, oh, Mrs. Young, and I get all these hugs and kids that are mine, kids that aren't mine, they just immediately, I'm just like, okay, I don't even really need a game face because I just enjoy their company so much.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
And, I find that being with children like keeps me youthful and fun and helps me to like cherish the small moments a little bit more.
Yeah.
I feel like as an adult, we can get so tied down with everything kind of going on around us and get so overwhelmed. But when you're around children all day, that just like one little song brightens their day or a little joke or laugh, they love to tell me knock knock jokes all the time. It's just those little things just really encourage me to keep pressing forward and to keep doing what I'm doing. And kind of feel like I'm making a difference in their lives.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
No, Amber's been teaching this is your 12th year?
Yeah.
Teaching. So
wow.
I'm always amazed at, I guess when I look at my own life, because that's the only thing I can really compare it to, just being myself, is literally I had no idea what I wanted to be when I grew up. And I would love to know what I want to be when I grow up.
Same, Jessica.
But, I think what's so amazing about Amber is that she knew when she was little what she wanted to be. And she knew she wanted to be a teacher.
Wow.
She would like teach her younger sister, have classes, and she would do all these things. And it's like, I'm just amazed because God has really gifted her into really, helping kids to be the best version of themselves and meet them where they are to help them grow educationally and give them that strong foundation. And I think that's been something that I'm very grateful to be able to watch just as her partner in the years that I've been with her, is just hearing the stories. And then when I go to her schools to get wrangled into some weird thing, I get to see these kids that are just so excited to see her. And so I think I do have to mention that because I know she's not going to boast about those things.
Know.
I do want to just share that's been one thing I'm super amazed with her. And that's why I think it's okay if we have 26 children. So
right.
All of it,
Well, I know with a lot of teachers, especially the ones who don't have kids, will claim their classroom as their own children. Like those are your, and they will always be your kids, even when they leave your nest at 3rd grade and then come back when they've graduated high school, and then they say to you, Mrs. Young, I'm going to college to be a teacher, and it's all because of you. And
wow,
like 100%.
I think it's so cool, like what you're doing. I'm glad that I don't have to be a teacher. That's not my passion. As a person who's the children's ministry director, I'm just and who has homeschooled my own children. Like but it's such a special job. And I know you, Jessica, you, Amber, as a teacher, you're one of those magical teachers who sees each kid as an individual, and you know how to help certain kids. The best teachers are the ones who know that it's not one size fits all. And In fact, one of the teachers who's made a huge impact on my life wasn't even my teacher. She was the teacher of my kids. And actually, it's Margaret Wassner, who loves you now, Jessica. She was my kid's second grade teacher, and I loved going in to help out with
Wow.
them. And I got to know all of those kids. Second grade, and when Owen was in second grade, was like the most magical year of school ever. And then 2 years later, she had Jonah in her class, and those two are night and day different kids. Like night and day difference. Like what Owen excels at, Jonah struggles in, and vice versa. And so Owen needed, his own thing, and she figured it out. Like, here's what Owen needs. And then I send in a kid who's like the exact opposite of him, and she can still figure out what works for Jonah. And that's just magic to me, because I can barely do that with my own kids. I'm trying my best here, but it's hard, Why do I keep calling you Jessica? Amber, thank you.
Well, the name Jessica is on here.
Yeah, and for everybody, for all our viewers, Jessica and Amber are in the same webcam square there. So Beth, I think, might be used to looking at Jessica.
I'm used to talking to Jessica on the podcast in the little thing.
Right.
But Amber, I am so thankful, especially having my own kids, like thankful for teachers like you who really do make a difference in kids' lives. And sometimes that's the only love and attention those kids are going to get.
Yeah, that's
especially my kids. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, I really appreciate you saying that, and thank you, Jessica, for saying all those very kind things.
I can sleep.
Yeah.
I don't have to sleep on the couch.
Sorry.
Yeah,
But I was just thinking about that. It's 100% true about once they're my kids, they're always my kids. I was telling Jessica that, oh my gosh, when I go on maternity leave, everybody's like, oh, you're going to be gone from spring break probably through the end of the year, right? And I'm like, well, no, I'm not just going to leave my kids on their own to just, till the very end of the year.
Yeah.
I can't do that. And they're like, oh, you're going to be different when you have a baby. But I just don't know that I will, because yes, I'll have my children, but they are my children. So,
right.
I 100% agree.
I think it'll make you a better teacher. Honestly,
That's what I hear.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And I wanted to share a little different outlook. I think that basically you're being a teacher, Amber, just kind of makes you like a really well-rounded individual overall. Because like the very beginning of the day, like you have a prayer. And like basically it's an exercise in patience, but then also God is guiding your path, right? So that already makes you like a really strong person. But then you go into your classroom and you see all these like life-loving kids, and they love to see you. I can just imagine that like that brings you joy every day. Like that's just like is a beautiful thing that you have those opportunities. I think like not only sharing your time with God to give you strength and like patience, but then like getting like touching so many like kids' lives and making their lives like better, and like basically making it so you have an impactful like time with them, and then they basically grow into better individuals because of you. I think that's just awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And let's face it, Jessica, Jamber. Let's face it, Amber. Jamber. Let's face it, Amber. You basically are their mom at school, and I'm only saying that because, like, I remember I got a text message from Owen's teacher when he was in 5th grade. And she just said, OMG, your son accidentally called me mom, and he's so embarrassed. And I was like, no, that is so precious, and I love it so much.
Yeah, I was called mom 5 times last week.
I bet you were.
Oh my gosh. That's awesome.
I love it.
God. That's
Plus,
wonderful.
For those that are, currently seeking a life partner, being married to a teacher is awesome because anytime I want to learn something like the phases of water or water, solid, liquid, how do we get there?
Yeah.
You can teach me those
like
things.
the states of matter?
The states of matter, that's also something that...
Or the phases of the moon.
Or the phases of the moon.
What is mitochondria, you guys?
Wait, I don't teach at that level.
I heard it's the powerhouse of the cell. Is that true?
What I would be interested in asking Amber is just random history, because you teach the kids history, right?
History's not my strong suit. That's Pastor Jim.
I feel like there should be third grade for adults, like just a dumbed down explanation of everything. Tell me what happened with the American Revolution on a third grade level.
Hey, Beth, I want to inform
Hamilton.
Beth, I want to inform you. I know we talk about Wikipedia all the time on this podcast. There's actually a simple English version of Wikipedia. And I was actually pretty amazed by this because, some of these articles of Wikipedia, especially when they're talking about subjects that are totally foreign to me, it could sound like a foreign language. So, I'm really glad that you mentioned that. I think I might actually start checking that out.
Well, when I was homeschooling my kids and Jonah would need to learn about whatever, write a paper about whatever, I would always look up history, blah, 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 kids, or science kids, because it would be put in terms that I could understand.
Right.
To help explain it to him.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Well, Amber, do you feel like joining us for some sermon feedback / evaluating your wife's performance?
That's my favorite.
Can I start?
Yeah, jump in,
Go
Beth.
for it, Beth.
Jessica, and I meant to say Jessica that time. You don't know how many people came up to me after the service and said to me, I had no idea Jessica could sing like that. And there were just so many people who were in awe of your performance, including Mrs. Wassner, who I sat next to during the music sermon. And she said, "Who is that?" And I said, "That's my podcast buddy, Jessica." And she said, "I think I love her." And I said, "I know I love her." So it was amazing. You were amazing, and I loved the violin and Don on the guitar. Awesome. And I am so glad that Pastor Jim approached you to do that, because like I told you yesterday, I was listening, but I was just also watching you, and just watching you. You just seemed so in your element, and your face just had so much joy on it. And it was amazing. So,
wonderful.
Let's do that again, Jessica.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's.
It feels so good to be praised over and over again, does it, Jessica?
So this is what Jesus feels like. No.
Yeah, Jessica, ever since I heard your voice, I think it was that one time when a bunch of this is kind of an unusual time for me to hear your voice, not being in the same music with other people. it was when COVID happened and like Don couldn't be there and Pastor Jim couldn't be there and stuff. And so they asked you to lead the music for that particular day. And when I heard your voice, I was like, wow, that's so awesome. I love Jessica's voice. It's just so unique and special. And it's just amazing that you're a singer and songwriter. And I thought it was such a cool opportunity that you could like perform a message for the church, like taking that entire time, and then just having that violin there with Raymond and Don on guitar, like that's just super neat. And I also thought that some of your songs were really like impactful for me, like those two that you had there. I keep forgetting the title of the first one, but the second one was Holy You. And when that lyric that you had there with Holy You, about like basically going on our knees for Jesus, or like putting all of ourselves in for Jesus. I thought that was really impactful. And it's just like amazing that you can express that with music. And I like the title for your message, Surrender and Worship. So I think that you captured that really well with like your song choices and everything. So yeah.
Well, that's good to hear. I mean, I was really just in a lot of prayer about the order of how I wanted to approach each song, and just some random information. The first song that I did in the worship sermon the song was called Break My Heart. And I wrote that when I was a sophomore in high school.
Wow.
And I feel like, since I got my first guitar when I was like a freshman in high school, and I was always like in my room and just trying to like teach myself how to play the guitar. And my mom has told me recently, it was actually within the past year, my mom said, we were actually really worried about you because you weren't hanging out with people and you were always in your room. And then for them to like see the, kind of the outcome of what I was actually doing when I was a senior in high school, the church I was going to recorded an entire album for me, and I had 1,000 CDs made. I sold them at my school. My teachers let me skip class to sell CDs.
That's incredible.
And I think for me that was kind of like validation from God that, he's giving me this gift of being able to write music and, just kind of like a lot of the music I write, it takes me maybe 10 minutes sometimes when I think of a song. It just comes to me, and I just, it's like I can feel God just kind of giving me. And then what's interesting is that sometimes I'll listen back to some of the music that I've written and I'm like, how did I write this? And it's, it almost, it's like I'm listening to somebody else because it's really God that's like worked through me in those aspects. And, with Holy You, I wrote that when I was, I think 19 or 20 years old. And I was just playing some chords on an electric guitar, and I just started singing the lyrics, and I had a friend there and I was like, write these down. And she wrote down all these lyrics, and that's where Holy You came from. And it just, I don't know. And so for me, it was just really, I was very, very grateful to be able to share, some of those songs and that experience with other people, because it's worship has such an important part of our faith and getting us through things. And like I said, it's times where maybe we're at our lowest, but times when we're at like, we're feeling really happy and joyful, and we just want to praise God in some way.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a wonderful reminder. Yeah, I think you caught both of those things, like the depths, like where we're just like down and out and we need God, but then also like, the at the very end there, the King of Kings song, like being resurrected with Jesus. Yeah, it's so important that we have like we reach out to God in those moments of joy and when we need Him. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just feel like the whole time you were up there singing, I absolutely agree with Beth, just the joy on your face. And you could tell that you just felt in your element and you were in your moment. And I could feel the spirit moving as you were performing it. And your voice to me always just sounds very like ethereal, like very angelic almost. And it really does like help me connect with God in a deeper sense.
Yeah.
And I was so grateful just watching you. I was just thinking, I'm so glad that we found a church that allows you to be on a platform being exactly who you are.
Yes.
I'm so glad that we found a place where we are loved and accepted. And we have made so many friends. And I'm so thankful that you have found people that you can jam out with and you can.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I just found myself feeling very, very grateful on Sunday.
Wow.
And you know what I was thinking about, Jessica? Just now when you were talking about how you said your mom told you that she was actually very worried about you at that time because you were holed up in your room. What she didn't realize was that you were actually forming your chrysalis so you could.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
You were turning yourself into goo so you could transform yourself into something even better when you came out
into goo.
I think that that's what you did.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
You were saying that Amber was teaching, when she was a kid, teaching her stuffed animals or whatever, but you were writing music. You were doing the same thing, but you were doing your thing. And I just think that's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I just think that's really amazing how you could write this music and it's like God working through you and like the words just like go onto the page and you just want to sing it. I mean, that's so beautiful. I
think that you two, Jamber, I think you're PUMC's new power couple.
Yeah. Woo. That's awesome.
Run the church one day.
Who run the world?
Girl. Jamba.
Jamber. But 2 Sundays in a row, you guys knocked it out of the park. So congratulations on that.
Oh man, yeah, absolutely.
Tim, you knocked the first one out of the park.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Amber, I made something for you. I can't keep a secret. I'm sorry. But I made something for you. And can I just tell her, Jessica?
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh,
Yeah.
I told her last week.
What?
I don't know where it is now because I put it the reason I haven't given it to you yet is because I put it in my purse to give it to you and then some of the things broke. But
oh,
I have to re-iron it. But I made you a joy emotion from inside out of perler beads. I was so inspired by your children's moment.
Oh, cute!
I also have
really cool.
That's so exciting. Thank you.
You're welcome. I have a little something for you too, Jessica, but I'm not going to tell you what it is.
Is it sadness?
No, it's not sadness. It's not made out of perler beads at all. It's actually just something that Craig gave to me on Veterans Day that said, thank you for your service. I guess I'm telling you, but it said, I'll tell you everything. Okay, you got it out of me. It's like you're torturing me, but I'm the one delivering all the information without anyone doing anything to me. I'm torturing myself is what's happening. Anyway, it's a little rubber ducky that says something about thank you for your service. And Craig's a veteran, but I don't think he had the same experience that you did because he wasn't really in a combat zone or anything
Oh,
like that. And so Veterans Day isn't as impactful for him as it might be for you, which is why he gave me the duck in the first place, because I like things that are cute. But
Yeah.
I was like, no, I'm giving this to Jessica because we'll mean
oh,
more to her.
cool.
Nice. I appreciate that.
That's nice.
So that's in my purse too. I can't keep a secret. I'm so sorry, but I also love both of you. So
Thanks, Beth.
Beth, I can just I think it would be hilarious to do like a skit where you're being interrogated and you can't say anything, and you're after like 10 seconds you're like, fine, okay, this is everything I know. And it's
not even reaching for the torture devices. I'm
right.
like,
Right.
fine.
Yeah.
It's like I
And they
twisted
didn't.
my own arm or something. Okay, I'll do it.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, like they didn't even threaten you with actual torture. Like it just.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man.
That's who I am. Anyway,
Yeah.
I
Well,
think we're going to do it.
Yeah, speaking of torture, let's talk about So who's got some prayer requests for this next week?
I'm all set. Thanks.
Great.
Just kidding.
I think I have something. I think I could use a prayer for my my sort of renewed like prayer life. So I guess I never really cultivated as strong of a prayer relationship with God as I've been able to do as of yesterday. So a prayer for me to just kind of like continue on that path, reaching out to God. And like you were saying, Jessica, reach out to God in those moments of when I need to express myself and get help, but also in those moments of joy. So
yeah, that sounds good, Tim. We'll pray for you with that.
thank you.
Yeah.
I thought I did think of a prayer. So we are flying out. We're not flying, we're driving because we're crazy people, but we are driving to South Dakota on Sunday after church, and we'll get there on Monday. We'll take 2 days to do it. So just prayers for safe travels. And the second thing is, you guys know that I crochet a lot and I do a lot of things with my hands. And I actually do have carpal tunnel in both of my hands. I was
Really?
diagnosed a couple years ago, and I should get the surgery, but I haven't yet. And I think that's going to be a goal for me in 2025 because my left arm is just getting increasingly worse.
Oh
And
no.
I can't
wow.
not use my hands because we have the boutique coming up and I still need to make stuff for that. So, I mean, just prayers that my arm doesn't fall off until then.
Okay.
Anyone else?
Yes.
Prayers, Jessica?
Yeah, definitely.
All limbs through 2024. Sounds good. But yeah, definitely. I didn't know that, but
Yeah, I didn't know that
Yeah.
either.
do you
Wow.
put like any lotion stuff or anything to help with the pain?
I probably should, but I don't.
Okay.
What?
I have some stuff I think that has like CBD in it or something that
Yeah, that helps with like inflammation and just like
yeah,
pain and yeah.
like
So
it's hard
What-
for me to sleep because like I have to have my arm a certain way, otherwise it, goes numb and
Yeah,
stuff.
right.
And if I'm doing this a lot, you'll know it's because
How do you know if it's carpal tunnel versus repetitive strain injury?
I had it diagnosed, and then he said, yeah, just contact, a surgeon. I need somebody to call me and be like, we'll call you to set up your surgery. But because that doctor left it in my hands, I did nothing. So now I need
Yeah.
to go back again and like be like, please don't leave this in my hands because I'll never take care of it. And
I've needed my
perform my own
wisdom.
surgery. It's fine.
I could probably do it.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
How much? What are your rates? What do you charge?
I'm thinking it could be maybe, so it's both tunnels.
We'll do the left one first. Yeah.
The left tunnel first. So
Yeah.
I would say, maybe 4 handshakes and salami.
4 handshakes and salami. Wow. Okay. You can go ahead and put that on a sheet of paper, Beth. Make that an invoice kind of thing,
Okay.
And
I was thinking meatballs, but
Meatballs, yeah.
Just like in the wedding singer.
exactly, Beth. Exactly.
Sorry, I made us go over. Request of you.
Amber, any
Yeah, I think, Caitlin, who's part of the young oh, that's so cute. I love it so much.
Oh.
Caitlin, that's part of the young adult crew. Her grandfather is very ill and in the hospital.
Oh, no.
And so maybe just some prayers for, she said he's 92. I think she said 92. But just prayers for her family and comfort during this time.
Yeah.
And then we do have a 6th grader at our school that recently lost his mom very tragically.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
no.
His 2 older siblings went through our school as well. They're in high school now. And so it's my understanding that the oldest sibling is kind of taking care of.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's a really tough situation. So just prayers for them, especially with the holidays coming up and them not.
Wow.
It's terribly sad. So,
yeah. I wonder if they're doing anything like a drive to give them some clothes or.
We're raising money.
Okay.
Yeah, they're passing around money, and all the teachers are going to donate.
So if anybody's interested in donating to those kids, email methodisttothemadness@gmail.com and just mention, hey, I'm interested in donating to the kids that Amber mentioned.
Oh, okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and definitely, Amber. Yeah, prayers for both of those things for sure.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Anything else?
No.
Okay.
Is there something else I should say?
I have no idea.
Oh, you made me feel very guilty.
Oh, no.
No, if anything, you were really selfless in saying that, Amber.
Yeah. I guess we all have problems. Amber's fine. So, for me, I think just continued prayers for the pregnancy, 21 weeks now, things are going good. And I think, what's going on? Oh, I'm going to be helping to lead the 11 o'clock worship this next Sunday. So prayers that I can get the music picked out by tomorrow. But other than that, I'd say like maybe I can lift up prayers to my family and just because.
Yes.
So everybody that's in my family, I just pray that this week is a good week for them and that everybody can find joy in their days and full coffee cups.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, thanks. Thank you, Jessica.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably it. But this was a fun episode for sure.
Yeah, it was really exciting. I'm really glad that you could join us, Amber. It's really awesome.
Thanks for the invite.
Last choice, Amber.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Oh no.
It's okay. I forgive you. I get a joy craft out of it. I love it.
Yeah. And I get a joy craft out of making it for you.
Right. I tried to talk Jessica into buying some of those and doing perler beads for a date night one night.
Oh my goodness. Okay,
How about it?
in January, you guys, I'm planning January tentatively. I'm going to have like an adult kids night at my house. And it's
Yeah.
gonna be
Oh, wow.
and I'm going to have perler beads and like all the stuff I do for the kids, but like fellowship for the adults. I think that would be so much
Love that.
fun. So
That's awesome.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
Thank
that
you,
that would be
guys.
amazing.
We'll bring some snacks.
great.
Yeah. That sounds
Yeah.
like
Yeah, I think it's
Coming
gonna be a lot of
soon.
fun. What?
Yeah.
Yeah, coming soon to a theater
Coming
near you.
soon. Yep. It'll probably be late January because I'm going to be tired from all the Christmas stuff. But,
No, for
Right.
sure.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
but I'm excited about it. It's going to be fun. All right. Did we do it?
Okay.
All the
Yeah, we did it. Yes. Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. Yeah, thank you
Okay.
again, Amber, for joining us.
Yeah.
Guys,
And
That being said,
stay mad, you Methodists.
Says we all have different names. No matter what life brings us, Jesus is the same. We're just your Methodist to the madness. Methodist to the madness. Methodist to the madness. Methodist to the madness.